Hi, everybody. This is Arushi Uppal, your host and your host, and welcome to episode 5 of Autonomy by Arushi. Today, we will be covering the story of Palantir. So, why their PMs build billion dollar startups and yours don't? Well, it's because of their no nonsense, high impact product culture, and let's understand how they hire and train their PMs. So at this company, everybody is a forward deployed engineer, which simply means that just product managers do not exist, right? There's no status game. There are really smart engineers who are embedded with users and solving daily life or real user pain points, which means that they embed their engineers or they send their engineers 4 to 5 days a week on site with customers so that they can really have a first-hand experience and watch them struggle with whatever outdated tools, messy data and spreadsheets, etc. And they don't just collect feedback, they actually live inside the problem space. And why this matters? Well, first, you get real-time feedback loop. Second, you're able to truly build intuition about the pain points by experiencing the whole user experience firsthand. And secondly, you earn the right to abstract a solution because you will exactly know what others want, right? So they don't just really start with features, they start with one customer's billion-dollar problem and they fix it so hard that it actually becomes a reusable solution for every similar customer segment. So, for example, the leader there actually was trying to solve a complex aircraft logistics for Airbus. And what they did was, they made the whole tooling very abstract so that they can offer the whole tooling system after Airbus to defense, pharma, energy, etc. It's more like they build a custom engine for one car and then they design it in a way that it can actually power a fleet of vehicles. So what the PM leaders or leaders at this company basically say is that before you think of scaling, work at a single unit problem and solve it deeply. And according to them, precision beats velocity, which means that if you're really intentional with your foundational steps and you solve the problem right, it's very easier and with less technical depth, you can actually, kind of scale it or use your velocity there to expand it to different applications. And then also the company's culture is such that they do not have traditional organizational hierarchy. Basically everyone's the same role, which is called a forward deployed engineer. Why? Because they feel that they really don't have politics or meritocracy in between. So they think that you should be recognized, the employee should be recognized for the impact and not for the title. And there is and what is the lesson here for builders is that when you remove these artificial ladders, people climb through their work. This basically creates a culture of ownership where you know that if you break it, you fix it, and you know that you can lead only by doing and not just talking. They look for three main skills. A person should be really curious, should be competitive, and should have something called contrarianism, which simply means that somebody is willing to ask a question, is willing to, basically challenge the assumptions. They look for people, basically, could be chess with people with chess medals, strategic thinking, or athletic grit, or, somebody who's really good at debating in philosophy, right? Because I think their bat signal strategy was not about really branding. It was filtering the right kind of weird, which simply means they used the actual substance and thought process of the candidate, and they feel that a great candidate for them can wrestle with the messy code and moral questions about the implications of the product in the same breath. So, here your takeaway is that if you want a similar culture or if you want to produce this kind of product managers, hire people who can challenge assumptions. Look for not just credentials, but what they truly bring and also great PMs are usually formed in discomfort. And basically, to kind of conclude, I just wanted to share that why these companies or companies like these basically have people who go on to start their own ventures is because they are trained to build like owners, ship with urgency, think like engineers, and filter noise like philosophers. So for you also to become a better product manager at your current company, try not to just replicate frameworks or go with a fixed mental model. Try to solve the real user pain, embed yourself in the process. Really, rather than thinking about your title, focus more on the outcome and own the outcome. You really don't need a very fancy, well structured roadmap, though, of course, structure and planning helps. But what you really need is technical grit and the courage to show up where others would hesitate, right? So smash that slide deck for real product jobs and basically focus on solving the real problem by embedding yourself as a problem solver, as an engineer. And you necessarily don't need to be an engineer by background, but if you really want to go into the weeds of problem solving, that's where the best solutions come out. Thank you so much. If you really enjoyed this, comment down below if you have a teammate who follows this, or if there's some product inspiration who you think has these qualities. Just tag them down to give them a big shout out. See you in the next episode.